Man, it's a pretty morning out here. Okay, so before I begin this video real quick, let me just address one issue that constantly comes up. And that's the issue of, should you ever dig up your soil in a garden? Should you ever till it? And the answer, and I get this because the whole movement of the whole industry is no-till farming. In other words, you never touch your soil. Don't dig it up, only top dress. Well, that's fine, but here's what I want you to do. If that's your position, I want you to Google something. I want you to go to Google and type in how many years does it take for a no-till operation to see benefits from converting over from a regular farming operation to a no-till operation. And the average time frame for that is somewhere between 4 and 9 years. So if you have 4 or 9 years to wait to improve your soil, feel free to go ahead. But what I'm telling you is the majority of people have crappy soil like we have, especially in the Southeast. We have this really hard clay soil you can't even get a shovel into. And so what we do, and we've developed for over 4 or 5 years with this super compost that we make, we add biochar, we add organic matter, we add mycorrhizal fungi, we add composted manure, we add pre-composted wood chips, and we put that on our rows, only on the row that we're planting. We till that in, and in year 1, you can have amazing soil. Now, we've done that out here on that garden over there for 2 years. I don't have to do it anymore. I can leave it alone. I've developed that soil biology. But it's a myth that if you dig up ground that has no biology, that you're going to kill that biology. That's not the way it works. You can't kill something that doesn't exist. So if your soil doesn't have any soil biology, if it doesn't have if there's nothing in there but crappy clay, you've got to add something in there if you want immediate results. So if you want a fast, quick garden, you can do what I'm showing you, is make these compost piles, put it on your rows or put it on the areas you're going to plant, dig it into the soil, and now you have great soil. That's sort of the whole theme of what we do for years and years. We have reduced the need for fertilizers to 0. We put no fertilizers in our vegetable gardens anymore. So let's do this video. It's like hitting a rock. See how easy that shovel goes in? Isn't that crazy? Oh man, look at that. Dark brown. There's earthworms right here. There's one earthworm. There's another earthworm. Man, the chickens would love this. Soil is. Talk about microbiology. You can see roots all through there. Living roots. Look at that. Another worm. Another worm right there. Isn't that crazy? Morning. Today's video, I honestly didn't think about, I wasn't going to make a video today, but I figured I'm going to drag a camera along with me and just show you guys what I'm doing. I hadn't planned on this. So anyways, I am working on compost piles, and I'm going to explain why. I've done this before. A lot of people have piles of wood chips, or you can get piles of wood chips, and it is beneficial in a hard clay soil, but you have to treat those wood chips. You have to pre-compost them. You can't put raw wood chips because of the high nitrogen to ratio content. Let me give you an example. Cow manure, generally manure in general, is going to have a nitrogen carbon to nitrogen ratio of about 20 to 1. So for every 20 parts of carbon, you have 1 part of nitrogen. When you get up to raw wood and wood chips, it can be easily 300 to 500 parts. So 1 part nitrogen and 300 parts carbon. So what has to happen for those wood chips to break down? They need to steal nutrients. They need to steal nitrogen. They need to steal nutrients from your soil to go through the decomposition process. Well, if you preload them, you're not really putting fertilizer into your soil. What you're doing is you're loading up those wood chips to actually start the decomposition process. But we have, if you have really hard clay soil like we have hard pan at about 8 inches, which means that you can only get a shovel in the ground 8 inches. Then you take a hammer and a screwdriver and you can barely get it in. Well, we run a rototiller on our rows, we pound that hard pan, and then we put in compost, we put in dirt booster, we put in humichar, and those rows up there that used to be, bang, 6 inches, you'd hit hard pan, it was all red soil. Now it's about 18 inches of this dark rich soil. I'll show you when I get up there. But the main thing is we're going to be using Lawn Alive and Dirt Booster, and I've done this for years. This is 5 years of testing. We've sent it to Clemson University for testing results. It's an amazing product. So normally I would just take something like a pre-composted, like black cow compost, just any kind of composted manure that you can find, add the Dirt Booster in, and the pile will become active. It gets really hot. The mycorrhizal fungi really starts to develop, and then you can put that, you can either top dress or till it right into your garden. It's amazing. But I am doing some testing strips out here with this new Lawn Alive product, and I'm being lazy because I don't want to, I've got most of my hoses packed up for the winter, so I got a backpack sprayer. I'm putting a line over here near my son's, near my new truck. I'll show you that in a minute, my old new truck. Then down by the pond, and then we're gonna go work up in the garden. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking this nice compost and I'm bringing it out to the edges, and then I'm going to go to the chicken house, and in the chicken house I'm going to get the new wood chips, and then I'll start layering it. I think there's enough poo in there. Chickens are always curious. This bin fits perfectly here, and I can get all the shavings out and put them in this larger bin down here, and this thing has wheels on it, and I can wheel it right down there. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm putting a layer of the chicken shavings, chicken waste, a little bit of Dirt Booster, and a little bit of the spray. But I need to get these wood chips wet. These wood chips cannot be left dry, so I'll actually come back with a plain hose and wet them even more. Trying to mix it up, old and new. It was 34 degrees this morning, and now I'm sweating my ass off. This sweatshirt's coming off. All right, I got to, obviously I need to take care of the girls before I go up. I want to check this compost pile that we worked on yesterday. And I'm telling you right now, I can see that pile steaming. So that pile's getting active and hot. So you'll have to put up with the girls screaming in the background every morning. But I can see this pile steaming. Now, I made this pile yesterday. I took the old compost that we had done the previous week. I put in the new chicken shavings in there, chicken scraps. And let's open this one up. Let's just take a look and take a temperature reading on it real quick. Definitely a steam-orama. Holy cow. All right, so less than 24 hours later, this pile has just popped alive. It's tons of heat in there. It's composting. There's biology going on. That may be close to a new record. Can you see it? 150 degrees. 150 degrees. Holy cow. That's pretty amazing there. I need to go get my phone and take a picture of that. Okay, so let's dig into this compost method real quick, and let me explain a little deeper. Year number one, we actually planted some produce out in these fields over here, and they started to come up, started to do well, and the deer ate everything. Year number two, we built this big 7,000 square foot fenced in garden, and we did exactly what I'm saying. Now, we took black cow compost, which you get at Lowe's or Home Depot, put Dirt Booster on it. This is the way we've done it for years. wet it, and that pile comes alive with lots of mycorrhizal fungi. If you don't know what mycorrhizal fungi is, Google it. But basically, it takes your plant's roots and it quadruples the roots. It brings in water and nutrients, and in return, your plant feeds the fungus sugar. It's a beneficial relationship that happens everywhere in nature. The second year, this garden produced right at about 3,000 pounds of produce. It got out of control. We literally were taking zucchinis and squash and all kinds of stuff up to the goat farm up the road. My realtor friend and her friend came over, and they actually harvested just in one day. Now, these tomatoes are growing all season. In one day, about 120 pounds of tomatoes out of here. So this garden got a little crazy, overproduction. We didn't need it all. So this past year, I actually cut it back a little bit, and I'd say we were down to about 1,500 pounds of produce, but we didn't use any fertilizers. All we did is we just babied these rows with that compost. Now this year, I'm probably not gonna have to do any tilling. All I'm gonna do is just top dress these rows. These rows have good organic matter. They have biochar from the human char and the dirt booster. That's all I have to do is just go over here, take that pile, which is crazy, crazy active, and just top dress it. Now, I need a lot of compost. So I have a dead pile over here. So this pile over here, excuse the girls, this pile over here is actually wood chips with a lot of our garden waste in it, and it's not active at all. I can put a thermometer in here and it reads like 50, 55 degrees. It's not doing anything. Those wood chips are not actively decomposing. If I were to put that in my soil down deep, it would actually rob nutrients. So I don't want to do that. But I have a skid steer coming tomorrow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten that pile out, and I'm going to put that pile on top of that pile, and I'm going to mix it all up. So I'm going to mix these piles up because that one's super strong. I can actually get a little bit of an ammonia smell out of that one, to be honest, with all the chicken poo and the extra nutrients that are in there. So I'll make one big pile, and then what we'll do is we'll take that, let that pile sit for a while, and then we'll come out here and we'll just top dress. Now, one of the keys, I think, to having a good garden too, a lot of people are going to put wood chips in between their rows, and that's a good method to do. Personally, I like clover. Clover is nitrogen fixing. Plus, the girls, I love to give, they love their clover. They love the greens. Chickens need extra phosphorus and potassium, so I give them greens every day. But we keep this garden green. In between our rows is solid green all year long. Last year, my squash got out of control in here. So I'm thinking about planting some squash maybe up in one of my fields. But in these fields, I really want to plant corn. I want to plant corn like every 6 feet, and then in between the corn, plant clover, and we'll have that for the wildlife. So I have some pretty big aspirations here, but that's how you guys can just go to Lowe's or Home Depot, buy Black Cow compost, buy the dirt booster, mix it all in. Once Lawn Alive comes out this spring, if you want to use some of that, you can. Do not spray Lawn Alive directly on your plants. A lot of garden plants and vegetable plants don't like nutrients right on their leaves, so you would spray it right on the ground if you're going to use it in the garden. People ask if you can till dirt booster directly into the soil. Absolutely. We used to do that over at the other house. We would till dirt booster right into the soil. Again, organic matter, biochar, mycorrhizal fungi, all of that. This year, I'm going to do something different as well here too. Last year, I tried drip irrigation, and I really didn't like the drip irrigation. It didn't do a good job. Wells typically have a lot of sediment grit, and that has a tendency to mess with your drip irrigation. So a lot of you guys know we pump pond water over 600 feet up here to irrigate our fields. What I'm going to do is at my switching station, I'm going to install another switch over here, and I think I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 of those big spray heads out here, the big irrigation heads. And I can throw a switch and all 4 of those will run, and I can run those for like 45 minutes 3 times a week, early in the morning. And I think that's going to be a better way to irrigate this place rather than the drip irrigation. Anyways, if you have any questions, drop it down below. I'll link to the products. I'll link to the Dirt Booster. The Lawn Alive I can't link to because it's not ready yet. But anyways, if you want to have a garden soil, if you want to have a garden right away, in other words, you want to improve your soil right away, you have to do this method. You have to get something good into that soil. You can't just go with a no-till and top dress. You're going to have to, if you do that, you're going to have to put fertilizers down for the first few years actually to get that garden to grow. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Longer video than I thought. I'll talk to you later. Doc.